The Old Testament paints a picture of a God who is mighty and awe-inspiring. He is the creator of the universe, the one who sets the stars in place. This God is a God of justice, demanding obedience from his people. He is also a God who intervenes in history, often with a powerful hand. Think of a king ruling his kingdom with absolute authority. He sets the laws and expects his subjects to follow them. This image reflects the Old Testament's God, a God who commands respect and inspires awe. He is a God who is to be feared as much as he is to be loved. This portrayal of God might seem harsh to modern readers, but it's crucial to remember the historical context. The Israelites, to whom these texts were addressed, lived in a world of uncertainty and danger. They needed a God who was strong and who could protect them. This God provided them with a sense of order and security in a chaotic world. The New Testament introduces a new dimension to the understanding of God love. Jesus Christ, as the Son of God, embodies this love in a radical and transformative way. He preaches forgiveness, compassion, and unconditional love. Imagine a loving parent embracing their child after a mistake. This image captures the essence of the New Testament God, a God of mercy and boundless grace. This God is not distant or demanding, but intimately involved in the lives of his creation. This shift in emphasis from justice to love does not negate God's righteousness. Instead, it reveals a more complete picture of God, one where justice and mercy are intertwined. The New Testament God calls for a different kind of relationship with humanity, one based not on fear but on love and mutual respect. The contrast between the Old and New Testament gods is evident in specific stories. Consider the story of Sodom and Gomorrah in the Old Testament. God destroys these cities for their wickedness, a display of his righteous anger. Now, contrast this with the story of the woman caught in adultery in the New Testament. Jesus shows compassion and forgiveness, challenging the crowd ready to stone her. These stories, though different in tone and action, reveal facets of the same God. The Old Testament God acts swiftly and decisively, upholding his laws with an iron fist. The New Testament God, however, emphasizes understanding, compassion, and the transformative power of forgiveness. These narratives, while seemingly contradictory, offer a more holistic understanding of God's nature. Why this apparent change in God's portrayal? One reason is the passage of time and the evolution of human understanding. The Israelites who wrote the Old Testament had a different worldview than the early Christians who penned the New Testament. Think of how scientific discoveries have changed our understanding of the universe. Similarly, as humans evolved, so did their understanding of God. The New Testament reflects a more mature understanding of God, one that emphasizes love and forgiveness. This evolution is not about God changing, but about humanity's evolving perception of the divine. The New Testament doesn't replace the Old. It complements it. It adds layers to our understanding of God, revealing a more complete and nuanced picture of the divine. Section 5. The human element. How our understanding shaped God. It's important to remember that humans wrote the Bible. While inspired by God, the texts are also products of their time and culture. The writers projected their own understanding of God onto their writing, shaped by their experiences and worldview. Imagine trying to describe a vast ocean to someone who has only seen a lake. Your description would be limited by their experience. Similarly, the biblical writers could only describe God based on their limited human understanding. This realization doesn't diminish the Bible's importance. It simply acknowledges the human element involved in its creation. Recognizing this human influence is essential for a nuanced and informed reading of Scripture. It allows us to appreciate the text's richness while acknowledging its inherent limitations. Section 6. Bridging the divide, reconciling different faces of God. How can we reconcile these seemingly different portrayals of God? One way is to see them as different aspects of God's nature, like facets of a diamond. Just as a diamond shines differently depending on the angle, God reveals different aspects of himself at different times. Think of a judge who is also a loving parent. In the courtroom, justice is paramount. At home, love and compassion prevail. Similarly, God's justice and love are not contradictory but complementary aspects of his divine nature. God's justice is about setting things right, ensuring fairness and order in the universe. His love, however, seeks to redeem, heal, and draw us closer to him. Both are essential to understanding the fullness of God. Section 7, A God for Today, Relevance of the Old and New Testament Gods. Both the Old and New Testament portrayals of God remain relevant today. We need the God of justice, who fights for the oppressed and challenges injustice. We also need the God of love, who offers forgiveness, hope, and unconditional acceptance. Consider the challenges we face today: poverty, war, environmental destruction. We need a God who is both powerful enough to act and compassionate enough to understand our struggles. We need a God who can inspire us to work for justice and peace. The God of the Bible, in all his complexity, offers guidance and solace. He calls us to live lives of compassion and integrity, to be agents of justice and love in the world. The biblical God, in all his forms, provides a framework for navigating the complexities of life. Section 8, Beyond the Text, Experiencing the Divine in the 21st Century. While Scripture provides a foundation, our understanding of God should not be limited to ancient texts. We can experience God's presence in our lives through prayer, meditation, acts of kindness, and moments of awe and wonder. Think of the feeling you get when you witness a beautiful sunset or the birth of a child. These experiences can connect us to something larger than ourselves, to the divine spark that resides within us all. The journey of faith is not about memorizing scriptures, but about cultivating a relationship with the divine. It's about seeking God's presence in our lives, opening our hearts to his guidance, and allowing his love to transform us from within. Section 9, A Journey of Faith, Embracing the Complexity of God. The differences between the Old and New Testament gods should not be seen as contradictions. Instead, they invite us to embark on a lifelong journey of discovering the fullness of God. This journey requires open hearts, open minds, and a willingness to wrestle with difficult questions. Just as a relationship with another person deepens over time, so too does our relationship with God. It's a journey of growth, understanding, and continual discovery. The more we seek, the more we discover the infinite depths of God's love and grace. The beauty of faith lies not in having all the answers, but in embracing the mystery and allowing ourselves to be transformed by the love that surpasses all understanding. The journey of faith is a continuous exploration of the divine, a journey that challenges and enriches us in equal measure.